everyone, it's Danielle with Northlawn Flower Farms. Today I want to talk about how to create a garden bouquet with meaning. And you know, isn't it so wonderful to give the gift of flowers to someone that you love, whether it's for a special occasion like a birthday, or maybe it's for your mom on Mother's Day, or to tell someone that you love romantically how much you love them. Flowers really convey that message. But I've recently discovered the language of flowers. The fact that each flower has a specific meaning attached to it. And it's really just opened my mind to a whole new way of arranging. So today I'm making a posy for my mom. A posy is a domed arrangement in a rounded shape, and I want to make it together with you. And also I'm going to attach to my posy this card that I've made for her, saying each flower that I'm going to be using and their specific meaning. So let me show you all the ingredients that I gathered and tell you what each of these mean. And I'll also link down below in the description a dictionary of all the different flowers that I find really useful. So the foliage that I'm going to be using today is mint. And I loved when I read that mint meant warmth of feeling. And doesn't that really personify a mother? Warmth of feeling. And I love using mint too in arrangements because it smells wonderful, and the recipient also can use it for tea later on. Now, as kind of some sparkle in the arrangement, I'm going to be using this beautiful mountain laurel from the garden, and let me just show you that. These guys have actually not opened up yet, but cut at this stage they will open up for my mom in the vase. And mountain laurel means tree of life. And I thought that was really appropriate for a mother because new life comes from the mother. And now I have these absolutely stunning roses from the garden. And I was really interested when researching that depending on how open the rose is, the color of the rose, whether it's kind of on the way out or not, there's so many different meanings. But this bright pink, wide open rose means thankfulness, gratitude. And I'm sure we're all thankful for our mothers, and the older we get, I think the more thankful that we become. And the showstopper of the arrangement is the peony. I'm here using Festiva Maxima peonies from our garden, and the peony means warmth of feeling, which once again I thought was really appropriate when making something for a mother. And I did pick one other thing I thought I was going to use, but when I double checked the meaning, it definitely didn't fit. I did pick some rhododendron, which does make a wonderful cut flower, but its meaning is danger. So I think I'll leave that out of my mom's arrangement. And also something that I might use is forsythia and bachelor's buttons. The color palette is right and they're blooming right now. So when you're making one of these posies, the first thing that you want to do is think about who you want to give the posy to and what kind of sentiment do you want to convey, and then pick flowers accordingly that have the meaning that you're trying to send. And from there, you're just going to create a dome posy and put on one of these beautiful ties that makes it extra special. So I'm using a fluted vase for this, and the opening is not very large. I'd say it's about 3.5 inches. I have my snips, I have my flowers, I have some yarn to tie the bouquet together with at the end. You could also use a rubber band, a simple hair tie, some twine, whatever you have on hand, but we want this bouquet to stay tight. So just find something around the house to help you accomplish that. So now let's go ahead and make this beautiful garden bouquet with meaning together. So the really great thing about making this type of a posy is that it's super, super simple. Anybody can do it. I promise you, you can do this. So what I'm going to do is start with my main focal flower. I'm going to go with a peony that looks absolutely gorgeous. This one looks very good to start out with. And if the peony has a secondary flower on it, like this one does, that's not really going to work for a domed arrangement. So I'm going to have to cut that guy off. I can use him, you know, in a small vase later on. And I'm going to also remove any other foliage down here that would fall below the water line. I don't want that. So basically what I'm going to go for is focal flower, secondary flower, foliage. And I'm just going to keep turning and go for that domed effect. So I'll get some mint. Now I'm going to bring in a rose. And I'm going to keep in mind this whole time that by the end of this, you know, I do want it to be that rounded dome. So I'm going to pick flowers that are facing the right direction, that are working with me rather than working against me. I think at this point I'll go ahead and work in some mountain laurel. And we will be cutting this pretty short at the end. I'm going to bring in another peony. See, I'm almost putting, as I go, they're almost going to the side and down to create that circle. More foliage. Turn. Okay, now I'll bring in another rose over here. You can think of it too almost as if you've done like a wedding bouquet, bridesmaid bouquets, it's the same kind of a shape, these domed arrangements. Okay, looking great. I'm gonna keep turning, keep adding foliage. This is, you know, the peonies and the roses are so big and beautiful that I could add just a few more stems and honestly stop there, but I'm gonna go ahead and use this mountain laurel. Now, here's something. Don't be afraid to cut down your ingredients. Like, this is just too big. And it doesn't repeat nicely as to what's going on over here. So I'm going to cut off this side branch. You know, make your ingredients work for you. And I think I like it here. And I kind of wish I had one more piece of mountain laurel, but I did not cut any more this morning. So I'm just going to work with what I have. And I'm going to keep turning. Now I'm going to add in some unopened roses. And I think I might add it in up here. So this is something too, you can just fit it in through the top. And just remember at the end to make the stem work for you. You're going for that dome shape. So I'm going to make that stem work for me. There we have it. Still working with the dome. Let me see what the addition of one more peony looks like in here. Yeah, I think some more peonies is really going to take this over the edge. Now that really is shaping up to be beautiful. I think as I look at this, one more maybe over there, small one, is going to really make this a showstopper. Don't really want a huge one. Maybe I'll just use this little guy from the side. This is also a nice way to use shorter stems, because as I say, these are shorter arrangements. And so you really can go ahead and utilize those small stems that might have been just sitting on your cutting floor at the end of the day. I always like to see a little bit of foliage in between each flower. It just, I think, gives it a nice garden feel. think I am very happy with the way that looks. So now what I'm going to do is green up all around this arrangement with the forsythia, because when I put it in the vase, when I tie it off and put it in the vase, I really don't want to see the edge of this vase. I want it to be covered in greenery, so let me grab that. So I could also add in some bachelor's buttons, and maybe I will do that. I think that does kind of add a nice touch to have that in there. Remember to keep removing any leaves that would fall below the water line. And also, you know, stick things through the top and the sides. Just loosen up your hand when you want to tuck things in. That's really the trick for getting things tucked in like this. I also like to always add in these type of things in odd numbers. I just think that's a little more pleasing to the eye. And like I said, I should have picked one more mountain laurel, but everything else is going to be a 3 or a 5. I'm not even sure if I really read that anywhere, but aesthetically, I find that more pleasing. Okay, I do like the bachelor's buttons. I wasn't sure if it was going to kind of make it too informal looking. Bachelor's buttons kind of have a way of looking just like a wildflower, which is not what I'm going for. You know, I'm going for something elegant, but I think because we're in the same color palette here, it's working for me. I'm feeling good about it. Where else? Actually, I think I'm happy with that. Now I'm going to green all around this guy. So you might hear this being called greening around the neck. The point is you're covering the stems, you're covering the legs. You just want to give it a really nice finished feel. So turn and cover the neck. And I really do think that this makes all the difference in the world, even if you're just making a simple market bouquet. When I see market bouquets, that it seems like the arranger hasn't taken the time to finish the arrangement. It just it looks cheaper. That's just my opinion, but I do try to always green up around the neck. It's looking good, isn't it? Don't be afraid to fix it, you know, don't be afraid to mess with it until you're happy. And you know, too, it's just so wonderful that all these things, you know, came from the garden. It just gives it a sense of place. And when that person knows that you put all this time and effort into making this for them, think how special and elated they'll feel. Especially someone who's maybe ill, you know, attaching the meaning to flowers. I think it's going to take from putting a smile on their face for, you know, maybe a moment or two, to really making their day, and honestly making a statement that they may never forget. I mean, I can recall sometimes people have got me either flowers or plants or whatever for a special occasion, and it's something I really remember to this day. Flowers have power like that. So let me take a look at this. I'm checking my dome structure here. Because I want to make sure it's right before I tie it off. I am very happy with that. So I'm going to grab my yarn, or grab your twine or your rubber band, whatever you want, and now we're going to tie these together. Because if I were to just cut these and stick them in the vase, you're going to go ahead and lose that tight dome shape that we're going for. So I've got a nice big piece of yarn here, and right at the neck I'm going to wrap it. And I really am looking for Not something that's going to break the stems by any means, but something that is going to hold this together well. You could use floral tape for this also. Go ahead and cut that. And now at this point I can cut the stems to length. And I might have failed to mention this, but I did dethorn all the roses before I started working on this. A nice fresh cut, cool water. Go ahead and put that into our beautiful vase. And isn't that stunning? You know, we went out into the garden, you chose these flowers with love and care and meaning for the recipient. And so now what we're going to do is attach the sentiment card, which really takes this from a floral arrangement to one that has meaning. So the final thing to do now is to attach this note card, which says the name of the posy, what flowers are used, and their meaning. And I printed this off a wonderful website from the author of the Posy Book, and it's a free download. But you could also just use a note card and handwrite it, whatever you like. And then, of course, I hole punch the top and put some ribbon in, and now we're going to tie it to our arrangement. So for this, I'm actually going to tie it kind of where I tied that yarn at, under the neck. You could also tie it to the base of the arrangement down here, but I kind of like the look of it right here. So I've just gone around the stems there. And you could really get complex with the ribbon and the bow. You know, you just could make it as fancy or as simple as you like. Well, she's all done. And isn't that such an easy arrangement to create? You know, just keep turning the arrangement, just keep thinking about that dome shape that you're going for. But what this is really about is the meaning of flowers and sharing the gift of flowers that have meaning with someone that you love. So I can't wait to give this to my mom. I hope she'll appreciate it. And just, you know, it's just beautiful. Well, I sure hope you enjoyed spending some time with me today. And until next time, happy gardening. Bye!